Two balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swinging a drive, deep left field. It's his way back. Walk him off. Chris Taylor.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into Dodger Heads, presented by DodgerBlue.com, part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined by the OGs of Dodger Heads, Matt Moreno, Daniel Starkand, talking a little bit of Clayton Kershaw update. Some breaking news coming out today that Clayton Kershaw will no longer be pitching for Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. Said he's all healthy. So before we jump to negative conclusions, that's the good news. Matt, I'll come to you first because there's sort of a weird backstory to this that's a little bit confusing. So walk us through the why behind Clayton Kershaw not pitching for Team USA.
Yeah, so it sort of started Thursday night. Jack Harris of the LA Times reported that Kershaw's availability and commitment to Team USA was sort of in jeopardy, and it wasn't entirely clear. Nobody was going on the record, but the sense was it had to do with Kershaw was having trouble getting insurance to participate in the event, which I guess every player sort of needs. Still, even with that, there was some optimism that I think he would play. I personally felt like they'll figure out a way to sort of get this done. And then here we are, Friday, kind of late morning, early afternoon out at Camelback Ranch. Kershaw was talking to reporters and he said, yeah, I have to withdraw from the Team USA roster. He was asked, if there was a specific reason. He didn't give it. He said, I think his quote was like, it's not important or super important, something along those lines. What he did say, like you mentioned, is that he is healthy. And, you could kind of see that reports have been that it has to do with insurance. Multiple sources have, different reporters have multiple sources saying that is the case. And seeing Kershaw's frustration, Alden Gonzalez tweeted a video of his interview. I think you could understand, like, that's probably believable and not that it's, maybe his back or his shoulder. So there doesn't appear to be any need for concern.
And the reason he's having trouble getting insurance is because of his injury history. So basically, he's obviously got a huge contract with the Dodgers. And so he needs to be able to get insurance that says, hey, if he pitches in this event and something were to go wrong, he were to get injured, I'm assuming that the Dodgers or whoever would then be compensated accordingly. And there aren't insurance companies apparently willing to do that because of his back history and injury history and whatnot. So, Daniel, I'll come to you. My immediate reaction to this was fantastic. Like, personally, don't care about the World Baseball Classic. It will be fun. It will be entertaining. I care far more about Clayton Kershaw being healthy and ready to pitch on opening day. Like, do you have any sense of a counter to that, or are you and I in agreement?
I thought I was going to be in the minority in saying that, but I agree with you 100%. Like, yeah, it would have been cool to see him in the WBC. Like, I'm going to be watching the tournament. I'm going to be rooting for Team USA. It would have been, cool seeing Kershaw wearing that USA jersey. But at the end of the day, I care way more about the Dodgers than I do about Team USA and the WBC. And I mean, you just talked about Clayton Kershaw's injury history. That would really suck if he went and pitched for Team USA and got hurt and had to miss, significant time or the whole season or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm not disappointed at all. I'd rather have him, have the slow build up during spring training. Like, another thing about the WBC is it's like going from 0 to 100 real quick, which can, absolutely lead to injuries, especially for pitchers who, guys are just throwing their first and second bullpens of the spring. So for him to be pitching in important games that matter in 2 weeks, that to me, that could have been, led to an injury, and we all would have hated that.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, I think that's a great point. We're not talking about a tournament that's happening kind of, a month into the season when guys have been built up. We're talking about something where guys were actually reporting to spring training a week early in order to be built up. And yes, Kershaw wasn't going to be throwing 6 innings and 100 pitches, but to your point, there was going to be some stress. There was going to be some focus on these games that wasn't going to be present when they're doing a split squad game against the White Sox here in a couple of weeks. Now, Matt, this feels like the perfect opportunity for our resident stag to say something about how devastating this is to the World Baseball Classic. Do you have anything for me on that front, Matt?
No, unfortunately, I'm letting you down today. I guess as far as I'll go is I do feel bad for Kershaw because I think this was something that he wanted to do. He's won a World Series. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He has a Cy Young. He has an MVP. Pitching in a World Baseball Classic representing Team USA is not something he's been able to do. And I think, like I said, again, his interview today with reporters at Camelback Ranch, I think that, like, more than anything, there's just disappointment and frustration with whatever process there is to kind of get insured so that you can participate. And I think, if he takes a step back, he'll admit and recognize that obviously the most important thing is the Dodgers and the 2023 season. But yeah, I mean, that the furthest of my anger or disappointment just lies in that. I feel bad for him, but I agree with you guys. It is a risk. And I think, kind of the most comparable thing to the situation is the 2014 season when the Dodgers opened in Australia. That was, I think, a week before the regular season on stateside began, and Kershaw pitched in Australia, ended up getting, I think for all intents and purposes, sort of started his shoulder and back, it was, I guess, upper back, kind of lower shoulder, however they described it at the time, injuries. And so, there was definitely concern for me, like you guys said, of if he participated in this event, what it could mean for him, his health, and the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's a great point. And I'll add, and I'm guessing we're in agreement, I feel way differently about Mookie Betts participating in the World Baseball Classic than I do a pitcher like Kershaw, a pitcher who has an injury history like Kershaw's. When you're playing the outfield, you have far more control, I think, over the health of your body. You can decide, am I going to dive for that ball or not going to dive for that ball? Really, all you're worried about is potentially a hit by pitch or kind of pulling a muscle. But I mean, Urias, I believe, is pitching for Mexico. So that's the only other Dodger starter, kind of key Dodger, I should say, that is pitching. Daniel, quickly, I mean, are there any other guys that you're slightly concerned about, or was it just Kershaw?
Yeah, I would mainly only be concerned about the pitchers. So I guess Julio does fall into that category as well. Position players, I don't care as much. Actually, I do have a question. I don't know if you guys know the answer to this. I know we've seen it in the past with specifically Kenley Jansen. I remember he would not play at the beginning of the tournament, and then if Curacao made it kind of far, then he'd go join them and throw an outing or two. I'm curious, would that be maybe a possibility for Kershaw? Maybe when the semifinals roll around, Team USA could call him and he could go throw 3 innings just one time. That takes kind of the insurance factor away. I don't know, but I think that would kind of give him what he wants. Like Matt was saying, he wants to pitch for Team USA, and that also takes away some of the risk where he's only, he only has one outing. It's later down the road where he's a little more built up. I'd be open to that, but as far as pitching in the full tournament, I think this was the right move.
Yeah, my guess is that wouldn't work. I don't. Also, Miles Mikolas, is he going to be able to beat that guy out for a big start for USA? I mean, we got a loaded pitching staff, Daniel. I don't know if you've looked at.
I saw Kyle Freeland made the list, so I guess they got another lefty ace.
Opening day starter Kyle Freeland for the Rockies. Okay. But yeah, my guess is, I think, Matt, you said it, you have to have insurance to participate. And so my guess is this isn't a quantity thing as much as just to participate at any level. That's where I land. Is that kind of your interpretation as well, Matt?
Yeah, that's definitely the sense that I get. I think with an insurance, it doesn't necessarily matter. Even if it is, you're kind of trying to reduce the risk with just the one appearance. If he does get hurt, then that insurance all of a sudden is needed. And so my assumption would be that wouldn't be possible. And frankly, I wonder, Kershaw said they exhausted sort of all options. I wonder if that was something he said, look, just pitch me once or twice or whatever, or hold me back. That would be my guess, but it just wasn't going to work out, unfortunately.
Yeah, Nestor Cortez of the Yankees also forced to withdraw earlier this week because of an actual injury. And the current USA rotation, Wainwright, Lance Lynn, Mikolas, Merrill Kelly, Brady Singer, and Kyle Freeland. So get fired up about that. Some of these lineups, by the way, are absolutely just nasty. So,
well, I was about to say, at least USA's lineup is nasty because they're going to need to put some runs up with that rotation.
I think it was the Dominican. Somebody posted a picture of the Dominican Republic's lineup, and it's absurd the guys that they have. So there will be a lot of offense, I would imagine. Maybe it's best for pitchers not to be involved in the World Baseball Classic. We'll see. But that's Matt. That's Daniel. As always, we appreciate you guys joining us. Make sure you check out DodgerBlue.com. When news like this breaks, DodgerBlue.com is first on it. DodgerBlue1958 on social media is where we post a lot of that stuff. So make sure to follow there. You can give Matt and Daniel a follow on social media. You see their handles there as well. We appreciate you joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, go Dodgers.